Good afternoon, listeners and viewers. It is 5:34, and it's time for the cover story. I'm Chevon Campbell.
And my name is Sanjay Lewis, and today we are focusing on that Auditor General's report on the Municipal Social Assistance Programme. And an audit conducted by Auditor General Pamela Munroe Ellis has unearthed significant inaccuracies and discrepancies in the reported expenditures of the Municipal Social Assistance Programme, that's the MSAP. That's according to a performance audit tabled in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. The findings raise serious concerns about transparency and accountability in the management of the program, which received an allocation of more than $1.5 billion. Chevon Campbell tells us more.
The MSAP is administered by the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development. Through the allocation of monies, it's expected to enable the effective delivery of social services to vulnerable citizens and provide administrative support to elected parochial representatives. However, the Auditor General is asking if the program has lived up to its mandate. In her report, Mrs. Munroe Ellis says the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development and municipal corporations only provided expenditure information after adverse findings were highlighted in a draft audit report. However, subsequent verification uncovered substantial variances in the reported spending by several municipal corporations. Auditors visited 4 corporations, namely St. Anne, Portmore, St. Catherine, Kingston, and St. Andrew. This was to verify the reported figures. In St. Anne, for example, the corporation reported expenditures of $26.6 million for fiscal year 2021 and 2023. However, auditors could only verify $18.2 million, resulting in an $8.4 million discrepancy. For 2023-24, the reported expenditure of $6 million contradicted verified vouchers totaling $11.6 million. Similarly, the Portmore Municipal Corporation also reported expenditures of $22 million between April 2020 and March 2024. However, verified vouchers revealed actual spending of $29.2 million, a difference of $7.2 million. In St. Catherine, a discrepancy of $52 million was found between reported spending of $125.5 million and verified vouchers totaling $73.5 million. At the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KSAMC, auditors were unable to verify 239 vouchers valued at $13.3 million. This is out of a sample of 1,263 vouchers amounting to $150.6 million. Missing documentation compounded the issues, further undermining the credibility of reported expenditures. Chevon Campbell for Nationwide News. Meanwhile, listeners, the audit also revealed a significant imbalance in the allocation of funds. Of the $1.5 billion allocated for the MSAP, $494.5 million, 32% that is, was designated for administrative support. This included $30,000 per month allocated to each councillor for expenses such as office rentals, stationery, and administrative staff allowances. For fiscal years 2022 and 2023 to 2024, a total of $342.5 million was allocated across 14 municipal corporations.
Of this amount, or $151 million, went towards administrative support. This left $191 million, or 56%, for actual benefit payments. Notably, 8 municipal corporations allocated more funds to administrative support than to benefit payments. For example, the St. Anne Municipal Corporation spent $11.5 million on administrative costs to deliver only $4.1 million in benefits.
Note for listeners, we reached out to the CEOs for the 4 municipal corporations mentioned above. That's the St. Anne Municipal Corporation, whose CEO is Jennifer Brown Cunningham. She informed us that she would like to follow the correct processes to respond to the report before she speaks to the media. Meanwhile, the KSAMC CEO Robert Hill also informed us through a public relations staff member that he was unfortunately unable to join us.
And of course, when we reached out to the CEO for the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation, and that's Marvelyn Pitter, we were told by her secretary that she was in a meeting and that she would get back to us as soon as possible. Subsequent calls to follow up on the request went unanswered. And also calls to the CEO of the Portmore Municipal Corporations, that's the CEO, Rovell Morris, also went unanswered.
For fullness sake, we also reached out to the Minister of Local Government and Community Development, Desmond McKenzie. However, he said he was unable to join us this afternoon. We will have to try at a different time to get in contact with him. And as such, we'll now read excerpts of that report for you as a more deep dive into what the Auditor General has found in relation to the MSAP and the country's social benefits programs in general, which she seems to believe just are not functioning as intended in terms of getting the benefits to the people and the cost. I mean, in one instance, she said that the administrative cost to dole out the benefit is well in excess of what is actually being spent on those benefits themselves, which is in itself a bit mind-boggling.
Yeah, I wondered, Chevon, when I saw that, because I would be of the impression that the municipal corporation, of course, they have a structure in place to deal with certain administrative processes. And while I can understand if an additional program is added, there may be additional stuff that may be budgeted under admin, but it is mind-boggling to me as to why is it that it was so expensive for the administrative side of things, when I would think that most of the money should have been allocated to the program to help those who are in need.
And I believe this was a matter that I believe it was Horace Chang who raised about the Peace Management Initiative and those crime social intervention programs, where he said that they were spending well in excess for administrative costs in terms of what was actually being spent on benefits to the people, which was one of the reasons they said that they had to essentially cut that and move towards a different system, because they felt they was just not getting benefit for what was being spent. And this is further proof that, yes, it seems in terms of when it comes to actually getting benefits to people, the administrative expenses sometimes just really balloon, and then people ask to, well, just spend more. But that also means that you're going to have a multiplier effect on the administrative costs, because that is how it works. The amount you spend to get money out is going to increase as you increase the budget to spend.
Yeah, but you see, when we look on the Peace Management Initiative, for example, they are an NGO, and whatever grant that they receive, they have to calculate how they're going to pay those individuals in the admin office to carry out the specific program that they receive the grant to carry out. The difference, though, is that with the municipal corporations, and a structure is already in place. So while I can understand that there may be additional administrative expenses because of whatever assistance they're giving, I still can't understand why it is so high. So let's look, for example, Chevon, on the table that the Auditor General outlined. And one example, for our listeners, St. Anne, 15,592,000 was allocated. And of that 15 million, 11 million was utilized for administrative support. Why?
That's $1 million question. I think it was for stationary office space. I find it strange. Are those things that the individual councils tend to pay for in terms of their own expenses, that they need that money for that? Office space and stationery and other municipal expenses. But anyways, listeners, on to the document, and we are starting with the Municipal Social Assistance Programme. That's the MSAP, which is one of those which is used to alleviate poverty and provide necessary aid to those less fortunate in the country. And starting at the top of it, we have with us the table, which essentially gives us an overlook of the expenses between 2017 and 2024 under education grant, it is a total of $604 million. On the social housing, that's an additional $118 million spent between 2017 and 2024. And indigent housing, we have $245 million spent over that period.
Right, and they also spoke about the funeral grant. Not all of the budgeted years it was reported, but for what was reported, we're seeing 67 million, a little over 67 million for funeral grant, and then administrative support, we have 494 million, a little over that for admin support, which we spoke about earlier. We think was significantly high based on what we're seeing here.
I mean, that's almost $500,000. If with the exception of the education grant,
Yes,
that is actually the
that's the highest.
highest expense on the document.
Yes.
Which brings the
Which-
total to $1.5 billion. A little over $1.5 billion.
Yes. Yeah, and I said it before, Chevon, it would have been, it's going to be interesting to hear from the respective CEOs to explain how the allocation was done and give us even more detail as to how this admin support, what it covers, etc. Because I know in the report, the Auditor General spoke broadly on it, but I think we need some more details.
Well, it says here the MLGCD recognized, and that's in the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development, the need for accurate and timely reporting to ensure proper accountability and has taken steps to improve reporting compliance. The provider said the figure 11 shows extracts of 4 letters from the MLGCD to municipal corporations between January 2019 and July 2024, highlighting a systemic issue of non-compliance. It says, despite repeated reminders and reprimands, municipal corporations failed to submit the reports, and to address this deficiency, the Ministry of Local Government's letter dated July 17, 2024, instructed these municipal corporations to submit monthly reports effective April 1, 2024, instead of quarterly reports. It says the letter warned that failure to comply would result in no further funding allocation under the MSAP.
Yes, and the Auditor General outlined extracts from the Permanent Secretary's letter on January 31, 2019. It says, as was established in the MSAP guidelines, section 5J and K, a quarterly report must be submitted by all municipal corporations regarding the success and challenges of the program in order to make improvements where necessary. As such, the reports should be submitted on or before February 28, 2019. And then on April 8, 2022, the ministry recognizes the need, the letter says, for consistent reporting and is therefore requesting reports for the fiscal year 2021 to 2022. And they are saying that we are also requesting an updated report for the period 2020 to 2021 period under each component of the Municipal Social Assistance Programme to be submitted to the ministry by April 30, 2022.
And it also says in May 6, 2023, and that's another letter sent, the Ministry of Local Government says it recognizes the need for consistent reporting, and it's therefore requesting the Municipal Social Assistance Programme report for the fiscal year 2022 to 2023 under each component of the program to be submitted to this ministry on or before June 7, 2023. And it seems up to July 17, 2024, that was not done because another letter was sent out, and this says to serve to advise that further to the meeting held on July 17, 2024, all municipal corporations are required to submit monthly reports to account for funds allocated to each municipal corporation under the MSAP program with effect from April 1, 2024. In this regard, monthly reports for each April, May, June, and July to include expenditure details are to be submitted to the ministry by August 31, 2024. It says, please note that the Chief Executive Officer should pay attention to accuracy of reports to ensure proper accountability, and to note that failure to submit these reports will result in no further allocation to the municipal corporation under the program.
Yeah, so they've outlined on numerous occasions that these reports should be submitted. And it seems like the municipal corporations, they turned a blind eye to it. I wonder
For
why.
3 years,
And
between January
yes.
31, 2019 to July 17, 2024, they
Mhm.
did not comply with that request from the Ministry of Local Government. And you know,
Right.
Sanjay, I know there's this laser focus on parliamentarians, MPs, and the ministries at the top, but I think many people underestimate the level or the potential, let me just put it no stronger, that the potential for corruption at the local government level because of inefficiencies, the inability, the poor accounting, and it seems to go under the radar until you see, as which happened recently at the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation, MOCA or another entity having to step in due to concerns. And that is something that we need to address, not only as the ministry and government, but as a public. We need to get pour more attention on these municipal corporations and how the local government process functions to
Yeah.
make sure that we're getting value for money, because in many instances we're not.
And we really have to turn a laser focus also on the chief executive officers who are, in a sense, the accountable officers for the municipal corporation. What would have caused them not to respond and not to honor the request of the parent ministry to send these reports? Anyways, the Auditor General continues to, and she indicated that despite multiple requests, both from the ministry and the municipal corporations, they failed, she indicated, to provide quarterly expenditure reports for our review. The Ministry of Local Government and Community Development, that is, and the municipal corporations provided the expenditure information shown in Table 19, which we just spoke to account for the 1.53 billion allocated to the MSAP. And only after the adverse audit findings were presented in the draft report, that's the time that they submitted. But the Auditor General says, however, our verification, coupled with the delayed provision of information, raises concerns about the accuracy of the reported expenditure of $1.53 billion.
And listeners, this is what prompted the auditors to visit 4 municipal corporations, that's St. Anne, Portmore, St. Catherine, and Kingston and St. Andrew, to verify the reported expenditure. It says during those verification processes, the auditors uncovered significant variances in the reported expenditure for the MSAP 4 components. Notably, variances were identified at the St. Anne, Portmore, and St. Catherine municipal corporations, where they requested all payment vouchers for selected years. For instance, the St. Anne Municipal Corporation reported $26.6 million in expenditure for 2020 to 2021 and 2022 to 2023, but it could only verify 18.2 million of that, resulting in a variance of $8.4 million. Furthermore, the reported expenditure for $6 million for 2023 to 2024 contradicted the verified vouchers, totaling $11.6 million. Similarly, Portmore Municipal Corporation's reported expenditure of $22 million between April 2020 and March 2024 differed by $7.2 million from the verified vouchers, totaling $29.2 million. The St. Catherine Municipal Corporation also showed substantial variance of $52 million between reported expenditure of $125.5 million and verified vouchers of $73.5 million. And at the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, the auditors encountered issues verifying 239 vouchers valued at $13.3 million out of a sample of 1,263 vouchers totaling $150.6 million, and this was due to missing documentation. The auditor says these discrepancies compromise the credibility and accuracy of the Ministry of Local Government's reported expenditure information provided by the municipal corporations, and consequently, the auditors say they cannot rely on the information provided to ensure accountability. And also there was a noted discrepancy between the reported $1.56 billion allocated for the MSAP and the PRF, that's the Parochial Revenue Fund, if I'm accurate allocation disbursement recorded of 1.53 billion. So I think that's about $60 million that they say simply just cannot be verified. So,
Yeah.
so
A lot
I'm
of
not sure what to make of that
unanswered
because
questions.
they're suggesting then that the municipal corporations provided inaccurate inaccurate expenditures to the Ministry of Local Government, and when they had to do an actual check, that those vouchers simply did not add up to what
Yeah.
was provided. So then it really lends the question: what happened to the rest of the money?
Yeah, because what in essence they showed that they can account for in spending, it didn't match up to what they reported that they actually spent. So again, it would be interesting to know, is it like, I remember a situation like that at the Ministry of Health, and what the permanent secretary indicated is that there are some vouchers that were unsigned at the time based on his explanation, and he, as the accountable officer, would have to sign so that the spending could match up. I don't know if it's something similar that we're seeing happening here. And the Auditor General also indicated that information obtained from the Parochial Revenue Fund disbursement schedule revealed that the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development allocated $494.5 million to municipal corporations for administrative support over the period, representing 32% of the $1.53 billion allocated for the program. Each councillor in the municipal corporations was allocated $30,000 monthly for administrative support to offset expenses for the rental of office space, purchase of basic stationery and office supplies, and special allowance for administrative staff.
And they provided a table, yes, saying that administrative support was 32%. The education grant represented 40% of the expenditure, the social housing 8%, the indigent housing only 16%, and funeral grants 4%. The Auditor General says of note, for 2 years between 2022-23 and 2023-24, they observed that the 14 municipal corporations were allocated a total of $342.5 million, with a notable imbalance in allocations, while $191 million, 56%, was designated for actual benefit payments. The other $151 million, 44%, was allocated for administrative support. Moreover, a closer examination revealed that 8 municipal corporations allocated more funds for administrative support over benefit payments. For these municipal corporations, the amounts allocated for administrative support significantly outweighed the amounts allocated for actual benefit payments. And in essence, the St. Anne Municipal Corporation incurred a cost, as we pointed out earlier, of $11.5 million for administrative support to deliver only $4.1 million in benefits. Further on the auditor's site visits to the 4 municipal corporations, they noted that administrative support payments of $30,000 monthly were made to various individual bank accounts for administrative services at the request of councillors.
Oh,
That one is interesting.
yes, this is interesting.
Unfortunately, since we're out of time, but this has to be answered. The municipal corporations and the Ministry of Local Government, there's a reason why we have the PAAC, and I believe, and the PAC. I believe this is something that the PAC, specifically, this is something that the Public Accounts Committee should look into. That is Julian Robinson. If you're hearing this, I believe you need to convene a meeting of the PAC and examine this performance audit, because a lot of this is ridiculous.
A lot of unanswered questions here.